We have, it says 9:30 on my clock. We'll give it just another minute here. So we're going to keep it really mellow today, given the heat. We're going to stay close to the ground. And we're going to just start in a comfortable seated position. So if you want to get started, you could just start in a simple cross-legged seat. And just start to find your stillness. That's a nice yoga setup outside, Elizabeth. Is that a porch? Are you on a porch?
Yeah, it's like a screened-in porch.
Nice.
Perfect for yoga.
Get my... All right, let's start to settle in. Allowing your eyes to come to close. And softening the shoulders. And just feeling the crown of the head reach toward the ceiling and gently tucking the chin. Just feel your body start to settle into stillness. And take a moment to scan your body. And as your mind's eye scans through your body, soften any areas where you feel like you're holding on to tension, where you're gripping. Good. Just a few more cycles of breath here, just in a comfortable seated position, settling into stillness. Softening the body and just beginning to really feel your body in space. Noticing how it is that you arrive for your practice today. And if you haven't already noticed the breath, just begin to notice the breath. There's no manipulation necessary here. We're just becoming aware of the body breathing. From this seated position, bring your hands in front of your shins and just gently start to walk the hands forward. So just easy seat, folding forward. Okay, so this can be like a lean or this can be like a fold. And of course, this is as this is a yin practice, you're welcome to use any props that you want here. So if it feels better to wedge a pillow or a blanket or a bolster in your lap, you can do that so that the belly can rest. You have a lot of flexibility in your head. Gets low to the ground. You can find a place to ground your forehead. But it's really just a gentle leaning forward. Mm-hmm. So just feeling a little bit of stretch in the outer hips. Whichever leg is crossed in front, that's the outer hip that you're going to feel the stretch. Now, when I come into this easy seat with a forward fold, sometimes it feels good to gently rock my upper body a little bit, just kind of sway a little bit. Okay, so you can explore that if that feels good. Think about pulling your sitting bones down towards the ground as you lengthen your spine, so that you're maintaining that connection of your seat to the ground. Let's take just a few more breaths here on this side. Just a really soothing, gentle opening in the outer hip, glute. And then again, as gently as you can, just walk the hands back, lifting the spine back up to vertical. And whichever foot's in front, just simply switch feet. So other leg goes in front. And then start to walk the hands forward, easing your way back into that gentle hip opening on the other side. Noticing that maybe the other side feels a little different. Okay, so your dominant side is probably where you started, so this one might feel a little awkward. Just observe that. Again, using any props that feel like they will help you find more ease in the posture. And as you settle in, use a nice, slow, even breath to continue to soothe your nervous system. We're here for about 7 or 8 more slow breath cycles. You can notice the space and the length along the whole back of the body from the tailbone through your neck. And then gently start to ease your way back up to seated. And just lean back onto your hands. Go ahead and untangle the legs. Maybe give them a shake. And take a moment to just move the legs in any way that feels good for just a couple of moments. Whatever it is that's just kind of intuitive and bringing yourself back to neutral. And from here, we're going to set up for another forward fold, this time with the legs extended. So I'm actually going to widen my feet a little bit. And again, it's just a real gentle, like starting with a lean forward. Okay? It doesn't even really have to be a fold. And again, if it's more comfortable for you to use your props, you can give yourself a little bit of support here. Maybe you want to lean onto your blocks, whatever it is, just get creative, okay? Or it can just be a simple, leaning forward, whatever it is that feels good to you. So in this practice, the feet don't have to be flexed. We're just gonna let the legs and the feet and the ankles just kind of be soft. And it's really just about a gentle back body release. From the heels, up the back of the legs, across the back body, all the way up to the shoulders. Allow your eyes to close. And see if you can just kind of bring your attention to that line down the back of your body, that release. From the neck all the way down to the heels. Okay, we're going to be here for about 2 minutes. I'm just going to step away from the camera for a minute. Notice the longer you sit here, the body might start to release a little bit more. Notice if you're holding on to any tension in your shoulders or your neck here. What do you do to soften that area? Can you unclench your jaw? Yeah. Think easier rather than, sorry, my dog is not cooperating this morning. Of course. Let's take another 3 breaths here, and then we'll come out of our forward folds. Now, as slowly and gently as you came into that forward fold, just start to lift your spine. Good, bringing the spine back upright. Now bend the knees. Grab onto the back of your thighs and gently lower yourself onto your mat. So coming onto your back, knees bent. And just take a moment to settle into constructive rest. Really notice how your spine kind of releases here onto the mat after being stretched forward. So the yin practice is really about paying attention to these little details, these little sensations that we might otherwise not notice. So notice from the top of your spine all the way to the base of your spine, notice it softening and releasing, being supported by the ground beneath you. Gently pull the knees toward your chest and just find a little bit of circling in the knees or rocking side to side. Just a little bit of massaging for the lower back here. Again, let it be intuitive. This should feel really nice. Eventually, begin to stretch the body out nice and long. Reach the toes away from the fingertips. So stretching the body like an exclamation point on the ground. Yeah, arms up above the head. Fingertips stretching away from your toes. Nice long line. Perfect. Good. Now interlace your hands together above your head or bend your elbows and grab opposite elbows. So we're heading into a side body stretch. So we're just gonna lift and shift your upper body over to the right just a little bit. Yeah, finding that side body stretch. Now you can stay right here or you can wiggle your feet over to the right a little bit as well. Maybe even cross the right ankle on top of the left ankle. So coming into that banana stretch. Good, and then settling in here. So the banana stretch doesn't have to be the deepest, most intense side body stretch ever, because we're going to be here for just a little bit. You just want to feel a gentle tugging, a gentle opening across the left side of the body. And even when you come into it and it's kind of subtle, it's not super deep, the longer you stay, usually the sensation increases. So be really mindful that that lower back-ish area can be really tender. So make sure that the left shoulder is supported, that it's not lifting off the ground. You'd want to back out a little bit if it was. And then just let your mind's eye travel down the left side of your body and notice the sensation. Notice the opening, the release. Where do you feel it most? Is it in the tricep, the armpit, the outer ribs? Maybe it's the outer hip or the IT band. So it's really just about noticing and allowing yourself to just sit with that. Let's take just about 5 more cycles of breath here. One more breath in. One more breath out. And now ease yourself back through center. Maybe moving the legs and then the upper body. And then take a moment to bring yourself back to neutral. Yeah, just letting it be intuitive. There's no right or wrong. And then in the next couple of breaths, we'll start to make our way into your variation of banana on the other side. So first, setting up the upper body, settling in the upper body, and then deciding if you want to add the legs. If you add the legs, deciding whether or not you want to cross the left ankle on top of the right ankle. Okay, so lots of different steps along the way for you to make the posture work for you. And remind yourself as you settle in that it's not necessary to be in the deepest side bend ever. In fact, sometimes I find if I go too deep into this posture, it kind of irritates my lower back a little bit. So just be mindful that you don't have to go super deep to get a really nice side body release. Soften the weight of your head into the ground, releasing the neck and the shoulders. Unhinge the jaw. Feel where the back of your body touches the ground and allow it to get a little bit heavier. Five more breaths here. And slowly begin to bring yourself back through center. And do what you need to do to come back to neutral. Yeah, so maybe it's reclined bound angle for a couple breaths. Maybe it's constructive rest with the knees bent. Maybe you need to hug your knees to your chest. And our next posture is going to be supported bridge pose. So think about what you want to put under your hips, either a block or a bolster or a folded blanket. And then begin to set up for supported bridge. So knees are bent. The support is going to come at the lower back, making sure that you're supporting the weight of your pelvis. And we'll start with both knees bent, feet on the ground. We'll move through a couple variations here, but let's land in just a traditional supported bridge for a minute. So this posture is really beneficial to relaxation. It's a really gentle inversion. It can be really powerful in helping you down regulate. Now you are welcome to stay in this variation the whole time. Or if you want, try extending the right leg out onto the ground. So the right leg straightens and the right heel rests on the ground. So now this starts to open up the right hip flexor, the front of the right hip. You can stay as is, or you can hug the left knee toward your chest. That's going to deepen the stretch a little bit. Okay, so you decide what feels best in your body. Okay, so we started with lots of forward folding where we opened up the back of the body. Now we're on our back body, opening the front of the body. In between that, we hit the side body. So we're getting a nice like 360 opening here, all around the hips. So if you spend a lot of time seated, this is a really nice practice to get the hip flexors moving in the opposite direction. And allow that right leg to be really heavy on the ground if it's extended. And let gravity help you. Let's take about 5 more breaths here. And if your right leg is extended, go ahead and re-bend it, foot to the ground. And then slowly stretch the left leg out, letting the left heel rest on the ground. Preparing for the other side. So we start with the left heel resting on the ground, left leg getting heavy, right leg bent. And then decide whether or not you want to hug that right knee in, or if you want to just keep the right foot on the ground. Really connect to that sense of gravity grounding that left leg. 5 more breaths here. And then slowly start to release the posture. Bend both legs, soles of the feet to the ground. Push your feet into the ground, lift your hips, remove the block. And take a few moments to come into whatever feels like neutral for you. Again, that might be a reclined bound angle. It might be constructive rest. Maybe it's a brief shavasana. Whatever that is. Give yourself a moment to find neutral for you. And hug both knees in toward your chest. And let the knees drop over to your right side. Just a gentle spinal twist for a couple of breaths. And yeah, if there's another variation of spinal twist that feels good to you on your back, go ahead and take that. You're just finding a really nice supine twist. Couple of breaths here. Arms are out like a T, or maybe they're like cactus arms. Yeah, left hip stacked on top of the right. And feel that space from the left hip all the way up the side body. Really nice diagonal stretch and twist. Two more breaths here. Take your time, bring yourself back through center. When you're ready, find your spinal twist on the other side. And just a few more breaths in your spinal twist. Go ahead and roll all the way onto your left side. And then begin to make the transition to bringing yourself up to seated and then to hands and knees. So as you come to hands and knees, if you think it might feel good to move through a couple of cat and cow stretches, go ahead and do that. Go really slow, really gentle, maintaining this really cooling, soothing practice, not looking for any sort of heat building here. And in the next couple of breaths, we're going to land in like a puppy pose. So you're going to keep your hips above your knees and just stretch your arms out forward, palms to the ground. And then just let your forehead drop between your arms. So head is dropping between the upper arms. Maybe it's landing on the ground or a block. You're going to get a really nice opening in the armpits and the underarms. Finding some length in the spine. Maybe the forehead even lands on the ground here, depending on the flexibility of your upper back. Okay, it doesn't matter if it does or doesn't, but just honor what feels right in your body here. From puppy pose, press into your palms just a little bit to lift your head up in line with your upper arms, and then just slide the left arm back and thread it under the right. So just adding a little bit of rotation in the upper body. The hips still stay lifted. Outside of the left arm is pressing into the ground. Finding some space between the shoulder blades. A little more side body lengthening. Targeting the outside of the left shoulder. Just a couple breaths here, not real long here. Gently coming back through puppy pose and then just switching sides. Right arm threads under the left arm this time. Just switching sides. One more breath in. One more breath out. Make your way back through center. Slowly shift up to hands and knees. And we're going to come into downward facing dog just for a couple of breaths, not for a long time, but just to get a little bit of back body release. Now, if you want to skip down dog, you can stay at hands and knees for a couple of breaths. Might feel good to move the hips from side to side or pedal the feet. We're going to head into a standing forward fold. So you're just going to slowly walk your feet all the way up to your hands. And I like to use my blocks. I'm just going to turn to face you. So I like to stack my blocks so I have something to press into. My feet are a little wider than hip width and my knees are soft. And I'm just going to let my upper body drape forward. Okay, so you can let your head just hang. Or if you want more support and you have the flexibility, you can cross your arms on your blocks and rest your head on your forearms. Okay, but the key here is that the feet are a little bit wider than hip width and the knees are bent. Okay, so this is a supported inversion. Okay, supported inversion, also a really killer back body stretch. So settle in. Feel where your feet plug into the ground and feel that connection. Feel that your weight is balanced between the front and the back of the foot, the inside and the outside of the foot. And then scan your body, starting from the back of the heels, up the back of the legs, across the back of the body, the seat, the back of the hips, lower back, mid back, upper back, shoulders, neck, head. Couple more breaths here. Let your hands reconnect with the ground and slowly start to walk your feet back like you're going to head back into downward facing dog. And then gently bend the knees until they connect with the ground and tuck back into child's pose. So child's pose either with the knees wide, or it might feel good to bring the inner thighs together and take more of like a seed pose where the knees are together and the belly rests on the thighs. You decide. Totally up to you. child's pose, or seed. And again, this can always be supported, so feel free to use your props. Tuck yourself in and settle in, feeling the support of the ground beneath you. Feel your shins and the tops of your feet pressing into the ground. Forearms connect to the ground. Forehead either connecting to the ground or a prop. A few more breaths here. So I'm going to tell you where we're heading next so you can decide where you want to go. We're going to come into figure 4 stretches and legs up the wall. So you can do figure 4 on your back without the wall or with the wall. You can do legs up the wall at the wall, or you can just do it supported on your mat with a block under your hips and your feet in the air. So you decide whether you want to actually move to a wall. If not, that's totally fine. If you want to move to the wall, go ahead and do that. When you're ready, we're all going to meet in figure 4. So either figure 4 on your back or figure 4 on your back with your feet on the wall. Okay, so if you're at the wall, your feet are going to be on the wall, and you're going to cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, and the left foot is going to press into the wall. Yeah, so you're just using that wall as a prop. It's kind of like, it's a really nice way to do figure 4, because then you can, if your right ankle is crossed on top of your left thigh, you can use your right hand to gently press your right thigh towards the wall. Okay, and then the left foot's not going to move because it's against the wall. So it provides a little bit more stability and a way for you to assist yourself. Yeah. So you can kind of wedge your right elbow next to your side and then use your right hand as a little kickstand to gently press the right thigh towards the wall. Yeah, and if it feels good to add a little bit of rocking here, that is a-okay. So that rocking can be really soothing. So you decide, does your body need more stillness, or does it need a little bit of rocking, a little bit of soothing? And let your back body be supported by the ground. Neck and shoulders are soft. We'll take just a few more breaths in our figure 4 on this side. One more breath in. One more breath out. And take a moment, take your time as you come out of figure 4 on your right side. If you need to do anything to bring yourself back to neutral, take a moment. Listen to your body. Yeah, let your body guide you. Maybe you want to stretch your legs straight up. Maybe you want to open your knees out to the side. And when you're ready, you'll set up for figure 4 on the other side. So knees bent, left ankle on top of the right thigh. Right foot is either on the wall or on the ground if you're on your back, not at the wall. Find that sweet spot if you're at the wall where it feels just right. So enough sensation that it's interesting, but not too much sensation where it's over the top. I'm looking for that middle, that just enough. And then settle in and just be wherever you are. So I know this part of the class, it can be really easy to start to think about the rest of your day, what comes next. It's really easy for the mind to wander. And see if you can commit to staying here. Staying present. Take another breath in. Release the breath completely. And then go ahead and release your stretch on this side. The next couple of breaths, we're going to set up for either legs up the wall or just bringing your legs up into the air and maybe sliding a block or a bolster under your hips. So just a really nice supported inversion. Now take your time to set yourself up so that you feel really supported, really at ease. Maybe it's even just resting your calves on like your couch or a chair. And then begin to connect with that feeling of cooling. Just letting the legs drain. Again, feeling that the back of the body, the back and the neck and the head and the shoulders, those are all supported here by the ground, your hips. And feeling that part of your body that's being held by the ground, it's being supported. There's no need to bring tension in. Feel where your feet or your legs connect to the wall. And just feel that your body is being held in this space. Eyes closed. Mouth is soft. Jaw is soft. We have just about 2 more minutes left in our practice. You are welcome to stay right where you are and complete your practice here. Or if you'd rather come into a traditional corpse pose or a seated meditation, those are always options. But staying right where you're at is a really nice way to finish. And the next couple of breaths, allow your breath to deepen. Gently and slowly introduce a little bit of movement back into your body. As you feel ready, you can start to make the transition back to seated. Take your time, there's no rush. We complete our practice together, sitting up nice and tall, bringing our hands together at our heart. And together we fold forward, sealing in your yoga practice. Namaste. Have a great day, ladies. Thanks for joining.